We are now just 105 days away from the official release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to be taking many different risks as well as inserting many different pieces of nostalgia, while also relying on many different elements from Star Wars Legends that will be making its way into Star Wars Episode 9 by JJ. Now, what's really great about this is that we will in fact be seeing the parallels not just between the prequels and the originals, but of course to what the hardcore fans know about the EU from the 1990s and the early 2000s. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, shot descriptions of a sequence where it's explained that both Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher are said to be de-aged for a sequence as both Luke and Leia, where it's said that they are said to be on the same exact world of Luke Skywalker's Jedi training temple as seen in Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It said that they used some stagnant shots of Carrie Fisher from The Force Awakens, where they de-aged her and put her onto a younger body, where there is a sequence that was filmed in which Mark Hamill hands Leia her own personal lightsaber blade, where she is said to ignite it in front of Luke Skywalker. The hilt is said to be a mixture between Kenobi's and Anakin's, where it's described that this moment is a vital flashback scene that tells the audience that very moment Leia gave up the role of becoming a Jedi, and is said to be a scene in which she learns the way of the Force by Luke. It's said that in the background, Luke's Jedi training temple is seen under construction, where it's just the framing of the building, where both Luke and Leia begin to train, where they have a brief duel with each other, borrowing an important moment from Star Wars Legends by J.J. Abrams. The sequence is said to be based on the first act of the film, that it was extremely complex as a scene to develop between Hamill and Carrie's footage left over. Leia is also said to be in a Jedi outfit colored both brown and black. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because this is a very interesting scene that was actually said to be a very difficult sequence to put together between Mark Hamill's footage and Carrie Fisher's leftover footage from, of course, The Force Awakens. So what I find to be so inspiring about this is that this is J.J. Abrams going into Star Wars Legends material and borrowing and cherry-picking elements from that and bringing it into Episode 9, somehow, some way making it work flawlessly. Now, this entire scene is described as best being, of course, very seamless, if you will, when it comes to the technique that they did in order to create a young version of Leia, by using Carrie Fisher footage and de-aging her face and placing her head onto a younger body. It's something very similar to what they already did with older Leia from The Force Awakens and putting her onto a different outfit in the Rise of Skywalker, I should say. So, with that being said, with Episode 9, this movie really seems like it does indeed have the potential to mark itself down as the best film of the sequel trilogy. It seems that they really are trying to do something incredible with the character of Luke. After all, we never really got to see a lot of footage between Luke and Leia. We only got that one moment in, of course, the very ending of The Last Jedi, where Luke technically wasn't even there. He was just a Force projection, so we have yet to get a legitimate reunion between both Luke and Leia, in the literal sense where he's actually and physically there. So this would very well be the greatest way to just bring that moment into fruition here for Episode 9, to show us in the form of a flashback. Now, this is all said to take place on Luke Skywalker's world, and the place where his Jedi training temple is being constructed, in the background. Now, it's said that his training temple in this particular scene, only the framing is up, so the exterior of the actual building is not covered, it's just all framing. And that's a very interesting thing, because that would tell us that Luke Skywalker must have had a lot of help putting up that Jedi training temple. It seems, from what it seems, it's not an ancient temple per se, but it's a temple that Luke Skywalker got built in order to start his Jedi training temple and his new generation of Jedi, which could very well explain as to why there was such a time jump, or such a delay in Luke training his students and Ben Solo, is because he wanted his own personal Jedi training temple. So this entire sequence is also said to focus in on Leia's lightsaber blade, which is said to be a mixture between, of course, Kenobi's and Anakin's mixed together. That's a very interesting design, trying to think about this in my head. I'm not quite sure exactly in what order the hilt would be in, when it comes to, of course, the inspirational pieces of Anakin and Kenobi's saber, what's going to be borrowed from what. But we'll have to wait and see. But overall, I think that this is great because this is tapping into Legends, where Luke actually trained Leia to become a Jedi, and Leia was actually a Jedi in Star Wars Legends. And that's a great thing about Legends, is that it really does have a lot of content just like this, that J.J. Abrams is just giving us a nice little glimpse into, for, of course, the Rise of Skywalker that I think a lot of fans are really going to respect. And again, this lines directly up with them doing something incredible with Carrie Fisher that a lot of fans are going to go crazy over. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.